creator of your life experiences. And that's what I should be seeing. So one of the things that we need to do, and that's the unseen. As I thought about this talk today, I thought, one of our requirements is to see the unseen. Well, how do you see the unseen? Because that which we are is the unseen. At the core of our bearing, at the very core of who we are, is the unseen energy. It's the unseen vibration of the divine. It's that part of us that creates. It's who we are. How do I bring that into foreplay? Anyway, it's back to you, Linda.
I didn't do it.
Okay, thank you. It goes back to a talk she made many years ago. I'm trying to forget it. So anyway, as we move forward on this things, we need to figure out, how do I see the unseen? Well, what came to mind this morning was this. What am I doing? You're giving me a signal.
No, it's to Linda.
Oh, Linda. How about you telling me this? Well, she's in charge though. I listen to her. What brought to mind is the saxopan. It's kind of interesting, the saxopan. Why did that come to mind? Well, sometimes it's green, it's other colors in the desert. But the saxoplant tends to grow on the flat face of a large mountainside. And what's ironic is it survives wind and storm and rain and snow. It survives all that. And the ironic thing is there's no soil at that place for which its roots could be attached to. What is going on here? We're kind of like the saxoplant. Well, I'm going to show you. There's some reasons here. Well, the saxoplant seeds has an acid base that literally will react to the stone, and literally the acid in the seed will create its own soil. Isn't that absolutely incredible? So I thought about that. Hey, this is cool, because that's what we're kind of like. If we want to think of, well, how can I really see the unseen? How can I do that? How can I bring my awareness to where I really am? Well, the saxoplant creates its own soil. Our seeds, our thought, this is good. Our thought processes, I know it's egotistical. Our thought processes are the seeds that create the soil of understanding, of faith, of trust, and belief. Would you agree with that? Clap for the saxophone. So I came up with that because people are going to want to know, okay, Angelo, you talk a good game, but how do I see the unseen? Well, it's said that, and Emerson said this, Waldo Emerson said, we cannot know God from the five senses. And that's what Bob was saying. We're seeing the individual, seeing separation. So Emerson said we can't know God through the five senses. Well, I've had many debates with my fellow ministers, and it's one of our test questions for ministerial, and most people disagree with that. Yes, I can know God. I can know this divine through my senses. I can look at the plants and the trees and the animals and all the love energy and all that we can look, and I can know God. What Emerson was trying to say is that through our five senses, we can't see the unseen. We can't stand before you and see the photons. We can only see separation. So we can't know the divine in that way. And so what we need to do, as a saxoplant does, we need to plant the seeds in our own consciousness. It's all about consciousness, awareness. It's all about planting the seed in our consciousness of trust, of faith, and acceptance. And it takes some work. I'm going to close with a story from Mark Victor Hansen in one of his books, and don't ask me which book, I just remember the story. But it had to do with this idea, the last idea that I want to think about is this. We need to put in mind the idea that everything that happens to us is a product of our awareness of ourself. Isn't that interesting? Let's think about that. Everything that happens to us is the product of awareness to ourselves. And before I go to the final story, we have a story that came through Deepak many years ago, and it had to do with World War I. And he said this, Deepak said this, in the story. He said, during that World War I, the German sailors many times spent days, months, and sometimes longer in lifeboats when their ships were sunk. Isn't that interesting? And the people who really didn't make it were the young sailors. The young sailors. And the reason that the young sailors didn't make it, that was finally resolved, was the fact that they had a lower image, a lower awareness of themselves as being survivors in such a situation. They never went through this, so they perished, basically. And they perished. Who made it? It's the old salts. They've been through it before, and they knew. So they had the awareness of themselves as being a strong person who could go ahead and overcome that. In closing, we can take Mark Victor Hansen and look at this, is that we need to somehow know that we can transcend the drama and the opinions of others. This chiropractor, we'll do it very quickly, this chiropractor just finished chiropractic school. And he wanted to start his business in the beautiful place of Monterey Bay. And everybody said, no, you can't do that. There's too many chiropractors around. And there's a little chiropractor association that said, no, we're swamped. There's too many chiropractors around. You can't make it here. And what he did was exactly what we're talking about today. He says, I'm not going to be under the domain of the public opinion. He says, I'm going to start my practice. So it goes within the light within and accepted that. And there's an old statement that says, God waits for us to wait for God. What he did, he went to what we call wonder, the wonderment. Oh my gosh. When we go to wonderment, we immediately put with a lot of enthusiasm and energy. When we go to wonderment, we're saying, I wonder. And he said, I wonder what I need to do to have my business. And when you go to wonderment, you immediately connect, if it's with enough energy, you connect to the force, the source of all there is. And what flows into our life is all the directions and what needs to do, the guidance that will take us to where we want to go. And just to finish this up very quickly, he ended up having the first month, after he followed the direction, which was go out there, let people know that you're a young, loving, nurturing little guy, and that you're there for the people. He went to that fourth dimension of love. And the first month he had 233 people come to him, and he brought in $72,000. This is what we're talking about today. We need to transcend the dominion that the world of form has over us and go into that higher awareness of who we are. And say we all care, and so it is.
So it is.